I bought the cafe when I was young and still full of dreams. The cafe was small and old. It stood in a dark and forgotten part of the city. But to me, it felt perfect. Inside, there was warm wood, soft old leather, and quiet jazz late in the night. Many people had lived and talked there, and you could feel their stories in the air. I worked in the cafe all day and evening, but at night I wrote. My black cat slept on the counter. I sat under the warm lamps and typed stories on my old typewriter. They were stories about love, death, and mystery. I imagined myself as a writer above a jazz bar. It felt like the life I wanted. But one morning, everything changed. A letter arrived. The government was taking the land in the area. They wanted to build a new highway, a big shopping mall with bright lights and plastic signs. Soon, the whole neighborhood would be destroyed. My cafe would be gone in a few weeks. When I read the news, something broke inside me. For days I walked around the cafe, angry and stressed. I talked to myself. I imagined doing something crazy to stop the plan. But time passed, and the end came closer. In the end, I did nothing. The streets became empty. Few people came to the cafe except for one customer, an old man. He came every evening at the same time. He always sat alone. He always ordered the same drink, hibiki, whiskey, neat. But he almost never drank it. He always sat by the window. Outside that window was a tall street lamp with a long bent arm. Its light was pale, like the moon. Beside it was a low willow tree, a quiet path, and a small bench. When it rained, the drops shone like tiny sparks in the light. It was a magical corner of the city, easy to miss, but hard to forget. The old man looked at the bench every night. He carried a thick diary. He bent over it for hours, writing in short old pencils. He never spoke except to order his drink. He never even looked at me. Sometimes he made me curious, sometimes annoyed, sometimes afraid. Afraid of becoming like him, alone and invisible. I never talked to him until the very end. The day before the demolition, I told him the cafe would close. He looked sad and quiet. "I'm sorry," I said. "I think you'll need to find a new place to drink." There was a long silence. Then I asked, "What do you write about?" "Silence," he whispered. "The secrets of silence." I didn't understand. I felt annoyed. So I went back to work. He left as usual. But this time, he left his diary behind on the table. I knew I shouldn't open it, but I did. Inside were drawings, one on every second page. A man and a woman under the same street lamp, sitting together, talking, laughing, dancing. The pictures were soft and full of love. On the other pages, he wrote short diary entries. Maybe memories, maybe dreams. He wrote about long walks, simple meals, quiet mornings, her smile, her eyes, the way she breathed in cool air. His words were gentle and deep. I felt I had stepped into someone's heart. But who was she? And why did he come here every night? The next morning, the workers came. They broke the sidewalk. They dug up the earth. The street lamp, his street lamp, fell with a loud crash of metal and dust. That night, he came again. But this time, he did not sit at the window. He sat facing me. His eyes looked wet, as if he had been crying. I told him the cafe would close tomorrow. He nodded slowly. There was another silence. I placed the diary on the bar, but he pushed it away. "You don't want it?" I asked. He shook his head. I took a breath and asked him about the woman. Who was she? "Everything I ever wanted," he whispered. Was she real? He looked at me, really looked. As real as I am. He stood up, closed his coat and whispered, "But this time is over. I must join her now." Then he walked out. I never saw him again. That night, I closed the cafe for the last time. Miles Davis played softly. My cat stretched on the counter. I locked the door and walked home under the quiet moon. The next morning, the bulldozers crushed the cafe. All the voices and memories turned to dust. As the smoke cleared, I opened my hands and felt something inside me finally relax. The world was changing. My dreams were gone, and I could not stop it. But in my hands, I still held the old man's diary. Inside it, the street lamp and all its memories were still alive in silence. I turned away from the rubble and walked out of the old city with my black cat in my arms. Find the free PDF and quiz in the description and comments below. If you enjoyed this story, like and subscribe to join us here for more. Until next time.